Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now what I'm going to do, guys, is just going to talk through some of the transfer news that we've had. I've had a lot of questions on Mascherano and Dani Alves. Very interesting topics, both of them being very heavily linked to exits from the club, and quite surprisingly, both of these are players that are over 30 years old. Both of these are players that have been linked with exits before from Barcelona, but after such a successful end of the season, and both of these players have actually been in very good form during 2016, it is still quite surprising to see them linked with an exit, and both to the same club, which is very, very interesting indeed. So thanks for all the questions on that, guys. I'm going to come here and do a video today. I am currently travelling at the moment, so apologies if the sound quality isn't as great or if the videos aren't as great in general, but I'm going to try and upload as often as I can and do the videos as often as I can. So let's talk about Dani Alves first of all, because I think out of the two of them, Dani Alves looks more likely to leave than Mascherano does. First of all, it came out that Dani Alves would be leaving this summer. The Juventus were the club that was mentioned, and this all came from his agent. Now apparently there was supposed to be a meeting scheduled next week between Dani Alves and the club, and then an announcement would be made next week that Dani Alves would be leaving. Now, before that, obviously his agent sort of leaked that Juventus have shown a strong interest. Now, it was quite wrongly reported. It was reported that Juventus had agreed a 3-year deal with Alves, that he would leave for nothing, and that it would definitely be going ahead. Now, that's not actually what his agent said. His agent, as we all know, is his ex-wife, so this is quite an interesting one indeed. His agent actually said that Juventus were a club that were interested in Alves, but that no agreement had been reached as of yet. Having said that, though, it does look very, very likely that he will be departing this summer. There's apparently a clause within his contract that says that he can leave the club for free if he activates it within the next month or so, or before June. So it's going to happen soon. It's going to happen quite very soon indeed. I believe in the next few days we'll hear some official news on this one. But I think a lot of people are getting stressed and a bit upset. Number one, that he's leaving, and number two, that he's going to be leaving for nothing. Now, the main thing to say here is that Dani Alves has been an incredible servant to this club, and that he was very, very lucky, really, that he agreed to stay with us throughout this season. He was going to leave last season, wasn't he? Heavily linked with Manchester United. He signed a new contract, even though he didn't have to. He could have left for nothing. He could have got a great signing on fee to whoever he signed for. He didn't do that. And now he's apparently going. He had offers in January. He could have gone to China in January for a lot of money. And he could have got, I'm sure, much bigger wages than Juventus are offering. But that's what you want to make a stress out of this, because Dani Alves may be leaving eventually for nothing at all. But what we are going to be saving on is his wages, because that's the biggest problem. When you talk about our finances, when you talk about our budget as a club, 70% of that, or possibly even more now, is taken up by wages. Primarily from Messi, Suarez and Neymar. They take up a massive, massive percentage of that wage bill. But there's also players like Alves, like Mascherano as well, who are probably on over 100,000 a week. So to save that on a player is going to be very, very useful for us. But of course, we're going to have to bring in a replacement. We're going to have to look. But these are players that should be leaving with the highest esteem. They've given us incredible amount of service. If you look at Dani Alves, 247 league appearances, 14 goals in that time, been with us since 2008. So he's only 2 years away from spending a whole decade at the club. He's the club that he's made most appearances for throughout his career. He joined from Sevilla during the very start of Pep Guardiola's reign here, and he was outstanding. He's been a player that's been at the very, very top level and has shown incredible consistency right throughout his career with us. And should he leave, he's going to leave with one of the highest accolades going. He's won everything there is to win. He's been an individual team of the awards. He's got individual awards. He's got team awards. He's won everything. And I think if he does leave, credit to him for coming here, grasping the opportunity and making that right back spot his own. And I would say he's been the best right back in the world. People will look at Philipp Lahm, but I think what Dani Alves gives you is unmatched by nobody else. Going forward, you can't fault him. People seem to underestimate, people who don't watch Barcelona regularly don't really appreciate the sort of combination that he has with Lionel Messi. That combination will be sadly missed if he does depart this season. But in the time that he's spent here, the 8 years he's spent here, has been absolutely fantastic. But like I say, he is 33 years old now. This is something that was going to happen at some point, so we shouldn't be altogether surprised that Dani Alves has been linked with a move away. He's 33 years old. So maybe the time has come for him to move on and seek a new challenge. I think he'll be a great player for Juventus. Like I say, though, saving on the wages will help us. Now we've got to go into the market and look for a replacement. I may have a video coming out within the next few weeks looking at our right-back targets, looking at who possibly could come in to replace him. Hector Bellerin has been linked. A few other right-backs as well around the world, of course. It's going to be a very, very interesting. And, of course, looking at what we've already got, does Luis Enrique believe in Alex Vidal? Going on what we've seen from January onwards, possibly not, but now could be his time to step up. So let me know down below, guys, who immediate thoughts would be to replace Dani Alves. But, of course, that's the one thing. It's going to be very, very difficult to replace a player of this calibre. So if we just move on now to Javier Mascherano, who... in the same day pretty much. It was absolutely crazy day yesterday and the day before that in terms of rumours, in terms of players that are coming in and out of the team, and all of them linked with Juventus, which was quite incredible really. They're going to have some really good players at their disposal if they get what they want. I think Mascherano for me is less likely. I think there was a lot of talk yesterday morning saying that Mascherano had agreed a 3-year deal with Juventus, that he'd met with them, that everything was agreed, the transfer was going to go ahead. That again was false reporting, because Mascherano may well have agreed a deal with Juventus, but nothing at all has been reached between the two clubs. Barcelona still insist they do not want to sell Mascherano. They're not interested in selling him. There will be a meeting again that will take place within next week with Mascherano, his agent, and the club. And I think what Mascherano wants is assurances. He doesn't really know what his role is going to be ahead of next season, and I'm sure that he's worried, again, being over 30, he's 31 years old now, he's going to turn 32 at the start of June, so in just a few weeks he'll be 32 years old, and again, he wants to seek assurances over what sort of role he's going to have. He knows in his own mind that we're going to be bringing in a centre-back this season, this summer, for next season, and he wants to know, is he still going to be in the lineup? Is he still going to be playing regularly? Because he doesn't want to end up on the sidelines for the entire season, wasting away the last few years of his career. And I don't think he will, mind you. I think at the meeting next week, you'll sit down with Luis Enrique in particular, who, let's be honest, Luis Enrique has put so much faith in Mascherano. He's made him one of the captains. He's, played him wherever he can. He's played him not only in defence, but also in midfield as well. And I think that certainly going into next season, you would feel that even if we did sign a centre-back, Luis Enrique, being the man that he is in terms of the way he likes Mascherano, he would try and find a way to fit him in. He would find a place in the team for Mascherano, whether it be in midfield, as a replacement for Busquets, as a replacement at centre-back, or even maybe he'll still continue to start him, because Mascherano ended the season, not including that red card against against Sevilla. He ended the season phenomenally. He was one of our best players, one of the most informed players, and really, really did play well alongside Piqué. And the same as Dani Alves. Mascherano has been a massive, massive loyal servant to Barcelona. Came in 2 years later than Dani Alves, but in that time he's made nearly 200 appearances in the league for Barça, 171 appearances in the league. Sadly, no goals at all. That would be a shame if he didn't leave without scoring a single goal for us, but certainly in the time that he's been here, nearly over 6 years now, he has been phenomenal. He really has been outstanding. And I think that's really, really impressive to see a player come in who wasn't originally a centre-back and adapt his game like he has. And people will always say, he's not really a centre-back, he's not a centre-back. He's developed himself into one. He's been a consistent player, the same as Dani Alves. He's kept the same level right since the moment he arrived, and he's been outstanding. And again, he will leave, if he does go, with his head held really high. But personally, I don't think this one is that close yet. There was a lot of links a few years ago when Rafa Benitez first turned up at Napoli, and they said that Mascherano would go there and he would link up with Benitez and he would be an integral part of that Napoli team. But again, Luis Enrique met with Mascherano. He said, look, you're in my plans, you're where I want to be, you're a player that I want in my team, please stay. And he did. So I think it's definitely possible in that meeting next week, talks could take place, Mascherano could be reassured over his place, and we could then see him playing again next season. And I think that would be a good thing. I think certainly he's a player that you want in and around the squad, not only for what he gives on the pitch in terms of performance, but also in terms of his leadership. He's a fantastic player on and off the pitch, and certainly in that dressing room. And again, somebody who's very, very close personally to Lionel Messi, and he's a very, very big part of this squad in terms of the dressing room and on the pitch. So I think we'll find a place for him. I think it's all about discussing exactly what Mascherano wants, whether he wants to be guaranteed starting places, whether he wants to be just known that he will be included in most squads. Then maybe we'll see what happens. But certainly Juventus are interested in both Dani Alves and Mascherano, but I would personally say Alves is the more likely. And of course, if Juventus do want Mascherano, they've got to match our valuation. Mascherano is not one of those players who'll be leaving for nothing. We'll want a transfer fee for him, and I would imagine that we want quite a bit for him. But again, will save a lot on his wages. He's one of those who probably will be earning over 100,000 a week, and that will help us significantly. But once again, if he leaves, you've got to find the right replacement, and that could take some time. So the club have been planning all this. They know what's going on. Nothing is official yet. Absolutely nothing is official yet. So everything you read is simply speculation or rumours. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on both transfers. Which one do you see going ahead the most, or do you see them both being sold in the summer? Let me know down below. The final verdict from me would be that Dani Alves will probably be on his way, and with our gratitude, our appreciation, and really giving him a big pat on the back for everything he's done for us here. But I think the Mascherano might stay. I think the meeting next week is crucial. We'll hear more after that happens, and then we can make a decision. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. Like I said, just doing a video here. I'm still out. I'm still trying to do them as regularly as possible, but they may be a few days apart now, but I'll try and do them as often as possible. I will see you very, very soon. But until then, as always, Visca El Barça.